Hey, Andy here from builderhottub.com. In this video, we're going to look at how we can fit plumbing to tub blocks ICF. So let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so for those of you that aren't familiar with tub blocks are ICF blocks, so that's an insulated concrete form. They're expanded polystyrene blocks that we can use to create the walls of our hot tubs and our pools. So before we get going, please do subscribe to the channel, hit that notification icon to be notified when my videos go live. I do 2 long form videos just like this every single week and a whole bunch of shorts as well. My channel focuses on DIY hot tubs and plunge pools. Okay, so in previous videos we've looked at the tub blocks ICF, and in this video, as I've said, we're going to look at how we fit the plumbing. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to leave the comfort of the office and head over to the workshop. So let's do that right now. Okay, so for this section, we're back in the workshop, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to fit some plumbing to our tub blocks ICF. And it's super easy to do, and I really think it's a fantastic material when it comes to adding plumbing, because it really is so easy, and hopefully this video will go some way to explaining that. So I'm going to fit this hot water return, and I'm going to do it with a section of pipe that I have here, and this is actually going to be inside of the tub blocks itself. And then later in the video, I'm going to fit a gunite body, which will be on the outside. And the reason being is the gunite bodies are just too large to go inside of the tub blocks themselves. So we're going to fit it, and you'll see that it kind of fits on the outside. And again, it's really, really easy to do. So first things I've got to do is I'm going to have this somewhere about here. So I kind of need to measure up to make sure that I've got enough pipe, which I do here. And I'm going to use this 90-degree bend to send the pipe through the wall so it's flush with the outer surface, ready for the return to drop into the actual pipe. So this one fits inside of the pipe. It doesn't fit inside of the 90-degree bends, so that would glue perfectly in there. So let's go ahead and do this. Okay, so I've got to measure up, and I'm gonna put this somewhere here, and just using my finger to kind of measure that. And I'm going to need a section of pipe that's then going to come into the centre. So I've got a mark already, and I'm going to use my pipe cutters. If you haven't got any of these are fantastic. They go through these just like butter. Look at this, it's so easy to actually cut pipe with a pipe cutter, and I'm using rigid pipe in this video as well. So look at that, straight through, no mess. Really, really easy to do. Okay, so let's get the 90 on here. I'm just going to push it all together. I'm not actually going to glue this in. And what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to mark where I want my hole to be. Okay, so I'm just twisting on here, and it's giving me a little circle. And what I'm now going to do is I'm going to use my hole cutter, and I've already measured up to make sure that this is the right size here. I'm going to drop this into my drill. Okay, now I'm ready to actually put a hole. Watch how easy this is. Now, as you can see, the tub blocks itself is quite thick, and it's actually thicker than the hole saw that I was using. So what I'm going to use here is I'm just going to use a blade to just go round and actually cut out the final portion of the hole in the tub blocks. Okay, and there we have it. Our hole is now ready for the pipe to go through. So the key with putting pipework into ICF is that you try and get it as perpendicular to the surface as possible. And I'm just going to use my pull return there just to double check that that's okay, and that's going to be really nice. Now, you can see around the pipe here that my hole is actually a little bit larger than the pipe itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use some foam insulation to fill the gaps, and I'll also fill this gap here just to show you how easy this actually is. So when I'm coming to set my pipe here, you can see that I'm leaving this a little bit proud of the surface. This is because onto the ICF, I'm going to need to put a render to take this a bit more back to more like a concrete wall than anything. And then on top of the render, I'm going to put my waterproofing, and then finally my tiles and grout will go on top. So I'm leaving my pipe here a little bit proud, just so that I've got the space and the depth around it to be able to add those finishes onto the surface. So let's go ahead now and use our filler to actually fill around the pipe that we've just put into the ICF. Okay, so we're ready to fill. Let's go ahead and fill around our pipework. Okay, so you can see that I've got the expanded foam around the area, and I'm just going to use a scrap piece of wood just to clear that up a little bit. So I'm removing any excess here. And what I'm going to do with the excess is I'm just going to use this to actually fill some of the cracks here between my joins, just so when I fill the ICF blocks with concrete, they're not going to leak. So I'm going to put a bit more onto the join here. And once again, I'm just going to use my flat edge here to just take off the excess and fill that nicely. So there'll be no leaks when I fill this full of concrete. Now it's time to let the foam filler dry and cure. Okay, so having let the expanding foam cure, and you can see now that it's really firm and there's some nice seals around the pipework there and the actual joint on the tub blocks as well. Now we're going to tidy it up a little bit. So I'm just going to use a Stanley knife here, and I'm just going to take the excess off. Okay. So I'm just cutting in, and I'm going to very carefully, there we go, you can see, just take the excess off so that I've got a nice clean area around the pipework so that it's ready for the next stage, which is going to be the render. And what I can also do is I can actually sand this down as well. So there we go, that's nicely tidied up. Now I can spend a little bit more time there we go, cleaning around the pipework. But as you can see, I've got a nice smooth finish here, and now I'm going to do exactly the same here. And there we go. We have a nice smooth filled area around the pipe. We've got a nice smooth filled joint on the tub blocks. Next step, time for some render. Okay, so as you've seen, fitting the plumbing to the ICF tub blocks is really simple. It's so much easier than having to core holes in concrete block. Cutting a hole in expanded polystyrene, filling it with a spray foam, it's really easy to do. It saves you a whole bunch of time with putting your plumbing together, and of course it saves you a whole bunch of time when you're actually laying the tub blocks as well. And I've covered that in a previous video. As always, I appreciate the view. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video. If you've liked this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next video.